This is a workshop session. We will skip over number 2, certification of prior meetings. We'll skip over number 3, reading of the privilege of the floor regulations. We'll skip over number 4, privilege of the floor. We will address number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Anything you'd like to share?
Nothing.
Nothing? Number 6, communications from the public and petitions. Clerk?
Communication from City Clerk Ramos appointing Lillian Devine as Deputy City Clerk and Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics effective May 3rd, 2017.
Does this need to be voted on, or can it be received and filed? Sean?
I'm sorry, it should be received as well.
Received and filed? Okay, thank you. Number 2,
Request from the National MS Society to use Point Gratiot as a rest stop for its cyclists on August 5th between 6:30 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. Also requesting permission to set up a tent, tables, and chairs.
any discussion, council? Seeing none, at that time, I would make my usual motion. I will need a first. Mr. Kawa, second, Mr. Gonzalez.
Number 3, request from Cynthia Carnes to use Promenchenko Stadium and Cooks Field on Saturday, July 8th from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Also requesting permission for a food vendor for the annual Joe Carnes Memorial Co-Ed Softball Tournament.
Any discussion, council?
Are those dates gonna be available for her, or is there anything going at that time that you checked with? Tournaments going on at the same time?
Pretty sure they checked on the schedule, but I can double check that.
Any further discussion? No. I'll make my usual motion. I'll need a first. Councilmember Monto, a second. Councilman Williams. Number 4,
Request from Harvest Chapel Church to use Washington Park on July 14th. Rain date July 21st from 5 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. for a community block party and carnival, as well as permission to bring in ponies for pony rides.
any discussion? I'll make my usual motion. I'll need a first. Councilman Gonzalez, and a
Second.
second. Councilwoman Shikawa. Loudspeaker application. If the council doesn't have anything against us grouping these 4 together underneath one motion, I will have him read them off individually, but we'll just make one motion with it if that's okay.
A, Scott Mikas on behalf of the Marauder Trotter 5K Run Walk to use speaker system, microphone, and music at Wright Park on Saturday, July 1st from 8:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. B, Lauren Klonowski on behalf of the Alzheimer's Association Western New York chapter to use speakers and microphone at Point Gratiot on Saturday, September 9th from 8:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. Lisa Levitt on behalf of Harvest Chapel Church to use audio equipment, microphone, and speakers at Washington Park on July 14th from 4:30 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. Karen Payne on behalf of the Dunkirk Elks number 922 to use amplifier, speaker, and microphone at the Dunkirk Lighthouse on Wednesday, June 14th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. for a Flag Day ceremony.
Council, have any discussion about either of those 4? Seeing none, I would make my usual motion and need a first. Councilman Williams, second. Councilmember Monto. Same thing with notice of claims, unless council has anything that they would like to discuss, which we usually don't for notice of claims. I would ask that the clerk please group all 4 of these together, but read them individually.
A, Sandra Marson for alleged damages to her vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Lakeshore Drive and Main Street on April 2nd, 2017. B, Maria Jakubiak for alleged damages to her vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Main Street and Route 5 on April 2nd, 2017. William L. Donaldson for alleged damages to his vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Lakeshore Drive and Main Street intersection on March 31st, 2017. Thomas W. Laughlin for damages allegedly sustained due to a clogged main sewer pipe on April 6, 2017.
Seeing no discussion, I would make a motion to refer these to the Attorney's Department and need a first. Councilman Williams, need a second. Councilmember Monto. What are we doing? Number 7, notice of verified petition.
Notice of verified petition for a judgment pursuant to CPLR Article 78.
And Sean, assuming this is litigation, we would just receive and file that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Any council people have anything that they would like to share during the workshop session?
Just a
Mr.
question
Romano?
for Bob. What's going on with the potholes? Are we still waiting for the
The
plant to open up?
The plant just opened up yesterday, but we probably won't be on for another week. We're doing paving projects on Pike and Margay and McKinley, so we're prepping for all that right now. We're gonna start paving on Monday. We had bulk pickup this week, we had brush pickup this week in the first ward.
Okay.
We're doing the best we can. What we have to do.
Any further questions from council? Are there any department heads that would like to share anything or have any questions? Seeing none. Number 8, unfinished business, we have none. Number 9, pre-filed resolutions. Number 22.
Resolution authorizing participation in Border Patrol Augmentation Program.
Does the council have any discussion? At that point, I would ask for a roll call. Number 23.
Resolution authorizing mayor to execute agreement with Chautauqua County for Stop DWI Program.
Any discussion? Number 24.
Resolution authorizing budget line modifications for fiscal year 2017.
Any discussion? Number 25.
Resolution authorizing contract for West Howard Avenue culvert replacement and first instance funding.
Any discussion? Number 26.
Resolution ratifying agreement between the City of Dunkirk and the Dunkirk Police Benevolent Association for January 1, 2016 to December 31st, 2019.
Any discussion? Seeing none. We also have 2 resolutions that are being walked in this evening that are not on the agenda you have in your hand. So we will continue with those 2 right now. Number 27.
By entire council, want me to read the whole thing?
No, just the authorization part.
Authorizing mayor to execute Wright Park Lakeside sod agreement.
Any discussion about that, council? I would ask for a roll call at that time. And number 28.
Authorizing request for proposals for city insurance policy.
Any discussion about that, council?
I don't have that.
I don't have
it
that
either.
one either.
I apologize, I have them all.
We'll get copies of those. Are there any new business?
Thank you. Not that I know of.
This one right here,
Oh,
Oh,
that was requested.
Okay.
what are you having a party?
No.
Oh,
No,
There's an idea.
can you explain that?
We're gonna go a little bit off the agenda here. I apologize, I didn't realize this loudspeaker connect came in. So I'll have you read who it's from and the dates and the times.
Application for loudspeaker special permit for the Clarion Hotel from May 1st through October 1st for outside music and bands.
Any discussion with that, council?
Just that they submitted a while back and, we never acted on it yet, so we're resubmitting it now.
Okay. Need a first?
Oh,
Councilman Williams. Councilman Gonzalez. Motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Councilwoman Chikawa. Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call a roll for adjournment of the workshop.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Will Bush.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
He gave it to me.
Sean?
Keeping you the information on that.
Okay.
walking at it. No, that's it. Okay. Any information on that?
The loudspeaker one with the others.
Loudspeaker one with this one? Yeah, we just call it as lead,
Yeah.
and then just continue on in 27, 28 for those.
Because it wasn't on the agenda and came after
he's been wanting somebody to get a resolution that says that you can't blow your grass into the road.
That's what I'm gonna ask Al, I mean, because that lady across the street did that, she didn't do it, the guy just
How
hired
can you
her.
even enforce what we have on the books now? We wanna put that on the books? Are you kidding me?
Right.
I mean, that's already on there, it should be. Ask her.
And then what do you do if people got a tree that has buds on it and that falls in? Those cause more trouble than the grass. So you're gonna fine them
The
for
biggest
having the
problem is
tree.
people putting their leaves in.
Right.
Yeah, the leaves and the grass, when they cut it, they leave it in the street.
I always tell Bob, I take my blower and I put it all into the street anyways. I said, so I'm not getting a resolution because I'm one that does it.
See, first guy's gonna be fine, right? Start at home.
That's right.
I don't wanna be a hypocrite and say that it's not right to do, because I do it myself. Think it needs to go out more.
Be on TV.
No, we're just pushing the thing out. We gotta teach Gabe how to set the table up, I think. Gabe. When's that fourth microphone coming, Gabe?
Hell, I took. long-term lease for basically it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to read off.
You're good, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Call to order the Common Council meeting for May 2nd, 2017 at 5:30 PM. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Here.
Councilmember Sakala?
Here.
Councilmember at large Wilson?
Present. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please read the certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, April 4th, 2017 was presented to the mayor on Thursday, April 13th, 2017. Pursuant to section 3.03 of the City of Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness thereof, I have hereto set my hand and seal of the City of Dunkirk, New York, to this second day of May 2017.
I need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes. First by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Williams. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Sakala.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Wilson.
Aye. Number 3, reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. Time limits specified shall be strictly adhered to, except that speakers may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time limit has expired.
With that said, privilege of the floor is now open. If you wish to speak, please step forward to the podium and microphone and state your name and address.
My name is William A. Reardon, 3 Fairview Avenue, resident of the city of Dunkirk. I would like to thank everybody that had anything to do to conclude the, I would say, legislation that had to go through by the residents in the area to maintain a residential area. Some 70 years ago, I looked the city over good. There was 3 houses on Fairview, 1 on Lafayette, and a few more in the other streets. Kirkland Lane, I don't recall anything being on there at that time. But since then, the area has grown up quite a bit, and it's good homes. We hope to maintain them, now to be around here a little longer, to utilize my home. But when you have someone from out of town come in and want to upset a residential section without a valid reason except that they're gonna tell you, and everybody tells you that when they're asking for money to start a business, they're gonna hire 30, 40, 50, and when it comes down to it, if you get 10, maybe 15, you will attain quite a bit of employment. So I'm not gonna belittle this too much, but I do say the very fact that that is a residential section. There's not much building in the city going on, but let's maintain that for that privilege. Because sooner or later, the number of homes going in there are more than gonna make up for any business that could come into the city, because there's gonna be some coming in the area, and there'll be people looking for good homes. And this is a good area to build in, because that's why I built there. And I would like to say, let's keep it as such. And with that, I'm gonna ask, and I'm sure what I'm saying that it's gonna stay a residential area, but let's keep it as such, so that in the future, and we're not looking down the road 5 years, 10 years, we should be looking ahead 30 years at least. Because this city wasn't born in a day, they're not gonna demise in a day, it's gonna be around for quite a time. And I'm sure there's gonna be enough taxes and monies to support a good government. So with that, I thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mr. Reardon. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address.
I'm Mike Civiletto, 138 Ruggles Street. I'm just speaking on my behalf, or on behalf of myself. First, I'd like to thank all of the workers in the Economic Development Department for their work on the April 29th cleanup of the city. It went really well. We picked up a lot of garbage, and in specific places there was more than others. And on that vein, I'd like to speak to the Roberts Road warehouse section that Millennium Parkway or Progress Drive is. We fought in the city for, well, we wanted it to happen in the year 2000, but we fought for many, many years to get that road built and to get that site so we can develop on it. As of right now, when I went there on Saturday morning, it has become a dump. We pulled out bed frames, we pulled out gas grills, we pulled out more plastic and garbage than you can imagine, 6 bags full, lawn bags. This is a section that's not owned by the city, it's owned by the county. And I think the county should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to look the way it does. Not only ashamed of themselves for looking the way that it does, but also for not getting that site shovel-ready. They've owned it for quite a few years, and as of right now, I believe we've lost over $250,000 in development because the county has not gotten their act together and brownfielded this area. They brownfielded half of it and then stopped. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask the councilman and the city of Dunkirk to draw up a proposal or some type of resolution to ask the county to start to brownfield this area. We've lost, a Phoenix could have gone in there. This Great Lakes cold storage facility could have gone in there without all of the interruption that we had off of Fairview and off of Main Street. This wouldn't have even been a problem. Wouldn't have been a second thought. We could have just put it right in there. But for, I don't know how long the county's owned it now, more than 5 years. They owned it when I got here in 2012. And they also don't maintain it. They don't cut the grass. It's not secure. We've had fires there. In fact, there was a fire there again a couple weeks ago. I'm afraid for the security of our citizens. I'm afraid for the security of my policemen who have to go in there and see if anyone's in there. They can, not only them, but their vehicles can get destroyed trying to get into that area. I just believe that the county should be ashamed of themselves for not at least fixing the place up, so when if someone does come in with the money to brownfield it, they feel like they want to do that. I know I've probably gone over my time, but it's something that I felt pretty passionate about for 4 years, and it's really, this Saturday morning, it really got me riled up that we have this in our city and that the county just ignores that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Anybody else wishing to speak, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is closed. Number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
I just have a few announcements to read. The BOA final presentation. The city is wrapping up the Brownfield Opportunity Area Phase 2 study. A final public presentation will be held on Wednesday, May 17th at 6 p.m. in the Fredonia Incubator. The study not only focuses on brownfield cleanup, but also looks at marketing these parcels and determining what these parcels should be developed as. The study has turned into a mini economic development plan for our central business district and waterfront community. I strongly urge all residents, groups, and community organizations to attend this presentation to give input and see the future of our waterfront. With reference to Community Cleanup Day this past Saturday, I'd like to thank Councilman Bomano and Councilman Gonzalez for showing up to help out. I would also like to thank all the organizations, groups, and residents that came out on Saturday for our first annual Community Cleanup Day. The people that donated their time were able to cover all 4 wards throughout the city, and we collected an abundant amount of trash. This event showed pride in our community and helped beautify our city. Thank you to Tim Hortons and Pizza Wings and Things for the donation of food and drinks for the event. We did have a good amount of people there, and I thought it was important to show the pride that we still have in our city. I also wanted to report to council that the reference to the Financial Restructuring Board, I did make contact with Mr. Tim Ryan from Division of Budget, New York State, and they do plan on being here before the end of this month. And with reference to the cold storage warehouse project, I just wanted to publicly thank our Planning and Development Department, and most especially our Planning Director, Rebecca Yanis, for a job well done. Her job under my direction was to bring this project to the city. There was a lot of hard work done behind the scenes to get this project here, and we accomplished that goal of bringing that project. In response to the comments made earlier, I just want to say that it was never our intent to disrupt that neighborhood. In fact, I went out of my way to have the developer agree to demands that I imposed upon him. And some of those demands were strong demands that he did not have to agree to, but he agreed to all of my demands. And so, but we'll move forward from here. We're going to work with the residents and try to bring a development there that is agreeable to the residents and neighbors there. And our planning director would like to speak on the Dunkirk Farmers Market.
For the Dunkirk Farmers Market, this year the city's been chosen to participate in the Double Up Food Bucks program for this 2017 year. The Double Up Food Bucks program is in over 75 different Western New York farmers markets. The program enables participants to get more fruits and vegetables when you spend your SNAP and EBT card dollars at participating farmers markets. So an example would be if you use $10 of your EBT card towards fruits or vegetables at our farmers market, you'll be receiving a double, so you'll be receiving additional $10 to spend towards more fruits and vegetables. This program is taking the place of our last year's Fresh Connect program and will offer more incentives for purchasing fresh produce. We want to make sure that we're getting good, healthy options out to our community, and this is one of those ways that we're going to be able to do that. So this farmers market will be a great event this year, especially because we'll be able to offer this Double Up Food Bucks program. And our farmers market will be running Wednesday, June 14th through the end of October, and will be again at our local senior center. So thank you.
I just had one more response to Mr. Civiletto. I just wanted to inform him that I have met with the county executive as well as the Chautauqua County IDA executive director with reference to his concerns, and we are going to be working on getting that site shovel ready. I do expect that at some point in the future here, we're going to be in an opportunity to bring in these developments, and we need that site shovel ready to go. So we are working on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions. Clerk?
Number 1, communication from City Clerk Ramos appointing Lillian Devine as Deputy City Clerk and Deputy Registrar of Vital Statistics effective May 3rd, 2017.
Received and filed.
Request from the National MS Society to use Point Gratiot as a rest stop for its cyclists on August 5th between 6:30 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. Also requesting permission to set up tents, tables, and chairs.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate assurances and usual conditions. Councilwoman Shikawa with the first.
Second.
Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington?
Aye.
Number 3, request from Cynthia Conference to use Common Schenkel Stadium and Cooks Field on Saturday, July 8th from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Also requesting permission for a food vendor for the annual Joe Carnes Memorial Co-Ed Softball Tournament.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Bamanto with the first. Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington?
Aye.
Request from Harvest Chapel Church to use Washington Park on July 14th, rain date July 21st, from 5 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. for a community block party and carnival, as well as permission to bring in ponies for pony rides.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions.
So moved.
Councilman Gonzalez with the first. Councilwoman Shikawa with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Washington?
Aye. We have 5 loudspeaker applications before us today. There was a 5th one that was a late addition. I asked Clerk Ramos to read all 5 of them off so we can vote on them as one package. Clerk?
A. Scarp Deacons, on behalf of the Marauder Charter 5K Run Walk to use speaker, system, microphone, and music at Wright Park on Saturday, July 1st from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. B. Lauren Planowski, on behalf of the Alzheimer's Association Western New York Chapter, to use speakers and microphones at Point Gratiot on Saturday, September 9th from 8:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. C. Lisa Levitt, on behalf of Argus Chapel Church, to use audio equipment, microphone, and speakers at Washington Park on July 14th from 4:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. D. Karen Payne, on behalf of the Dunkirk Elks number 922, to use amplifier, speaker, and microphone at the Dunkirk Lighthouse on Wednesday, June 14th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. for a Flag Day ceremony. And E. Loudspeaker permit for the Clarion Hotel from May 1 to October 1 for outside bands.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve, subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions. Councilman Williams with the first. Need a second. Councilman Bamanto. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Monto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shakala.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wood.
Aye. We have 4 notices of claim before us on the agenda today. I asked Clerk Ramos to read all 4 of them off individually, but we are going to group them together for one vote.
A. Sandra Marson for alleged damages to her vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Lakeshore Drive and Main Street on April 2nd, 2017. Maria Jakubiak for alleged damages to her vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Main Street and Route 5 on April 2nd, 2017. William L. Donaldson for alleged damages to his vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Lakeshore Drive and Main Street intersection on March 31st, 2017. Thomas Laughlin for damages allegedly sustained due to a clogged main sewer pipe on April 6, 2017.
I need a motion to refer this to the city attorney. First from Councilman Williams, a second from Councilman Bamanto. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shakala.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Wood.
Aye. Number 7.
Notice of verified petition for a judgment pursuant to CPLR Article 78.
This will be received and filed. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams?
To Director Bankowski, yesterday with all the water we had, there was some flooding in the backyards on Moffett Street. We spoke earlier to see if there was a possibility of getting a round grate to put over instead of the manhole cover. If that will work, I don't know how that'll work, but if you could do that and you think that'll work, I don't know if city engineer might have an idea about it too, on what could help drain that water out of there a little bit quicker.
I was gonna see if I could take Mr. Smith, the maintenance mechanic, with me tomorrow sometime to go over there and maybe we could fabricate something properly that would fit over that, like a cap would grate it so the water would flow in there.
All right, and that drain is behind 102.
Okay.
And then also, if you can put on that other hat, that since you're a legislator also, Mr. Civiletto's got some good concerns there with that area, and if you could help push through there to get the IDA to clean that stuff up and work on getting those buildings down, that would help us out a lot. Thanks.
We had we're gonna be, the windmill company that's gonna be building up in Arkwright. They're gonna use that as a staging area for 4 months. They're gonna be paying the county $15,000 a month for 4 months for a total of $60,000. So I already had made mention to the county executive about utilizing some of them funds to start the cleanup process on that site. And CSX, who is going to be bringing the windmill equipment to the site, they're going to be doing some site improvement stuff also as as they need fit to unload the equipment there.
All right, thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bamanto?
One announcement, Monday, May 8th, there will be a personnel meeting, 4 PM in the mayor's conference room. And as the mayor said, Councilman Gonzalez and myself were picking up garbage this weekend, the community cleanup. That was well attended. I'd like to thank everyone that came out and helped. I'd like to thank Rebecca and her staff putting it together. Job well done, and hopefully it'll be bigger and better next year. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Bamanto. Councilman Gonzalez?
Okay. We had the economic development meeting today, in which I was expecting a lot more people to be present in regards to the Floramo plan, that presentation that we had. We had a great presentation by Rebecca Janis and El Zarowski in regards to how we're going to address this situation. We're planning on putting this on the Access Television channel. I'm going to ask that Gabe get together again with Rebecca and El to make some kind of a video, since he wasn't present for the meeting, to be put it on Access TV for that as soon as possible. We went over most of the issues that Ms. Floramo had addressed before, and hopefully for those that weren't there, when they see the video, they can make up their questions or that they need to address, so we can go forward and to see where we need to do in regards to this. We also addressed the dog park and the 3-on-3 basketball tournament that will be happening in the city this month, and a couple issues. Another thing that I wanted to address was, and this is to the fire chief, and I'm sorry to be blunt, but were you present for the day that the person got stuck in that tree?
No.
In the city of Dunkirk?
No, I was not.
Did you get any information in regards to exactly what happened over there?
Yes.
And what was explained to you that happened?
As far as,
The question that I have is that one of the things that happened there that shouldn't have happened is that the fact that the person that got stuck on the tree could have been taken out of that tree within 15, 20 minutes. It lasted over an hour, for the reason that was that the gentleman did not speak English, and he was explaining to the people that were there how he can get out by taking the ladder out of the way so he can take his hand out and get out of the tree. He was explaining that. Nobody wanted to listen. The people that were there, the firemen, the paramedics, whoever was there, when somebody tried to explain it to them in English, they told them to move away because they were bothering them. So I like to know how come these things are happening when you know that we live in a community where it's 40% minority, and we have nobody to be able to relate the information to one another in order to save somebody's life.
I would have hoped that you would have contacted me before bringing this up at a council meeting so that I could look into it. I certainly will look into it, but the reports that I had from Captain Cotto, who was on location that day, in my absence because I was on vacation, was that everybody involved did an exceptional job. But I certainly will look into that, and I can assure you that that wasn't the case.
Well, I'm hoping that you can get the whole information, because I was contacted by the family in regards to that, and they tried to explain to the firemen or the people that were present there how he could get out, and what they were told is that they were bothering them. They were only trying to help, since the fire department, the paramedics, and nobody has anybody that can speak the language. My concern and my suggestion is, can there be a paramedic, Hispanic person available to go on call or something, or how can we address this issue so that this does not happen again? This is something of a life situation. Somebody could die for somebody not understanding what the person is trying to say to one. And I hope that I can get a report from you in regards to this. And I'm sorry I didn't address it sooner, because they just called me just recently. And also in regards to Mr. Civilette, the point that he made out in regards to the building over on the Roberts Road. That's something that, I had a concern for a long time. If we'd have had that building ready, I mean, that area cleared out, we probably wouldn't have to gone to the Fairview location. So I'm hoping that the county, along with Mr. Bankowski, can address that as soon as possible so that we don't lose any more business in the city. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Gonzalez. Councilwoman Shikawa?
Yes, I'd also like to speak on the cold storage unit. I was disappointed to know that we had lost the ability to have a partnership with them, as well as add to our tax base and create jobs in the city. Whether they were 5 jobs or 50 jobs, I think they were needed. They always will be needed. But the biggest part of it was that I was disappointed that we didn't have another area that met their specifications. So I think that we have all the right people in this room right now that are going to try to make that happen. I know this one was a loss, but there will be others that come to us and want to continue development. And I think that everyone in this room has the right goal. And hopefully we can get some other shovel-ready sites so that when people do come to us that we're ready. And I'd also like to ask Mr. Bankowski, back in October or November, I received a letter, as well as the DPW and I believe the city attorney and the mayor, from a Mr. Shodan on Lord Street about the receivers backing up quite a bit in the area. There were some other issues within his letter that I won't go into detail, but I did receive the call again on Sunday and another one on Monday from Lord Street residents asking if we can start from Tenney Street, go down to Courtney, and clean out those receivers because for some reason we have some issue starting at the top and it doesn't end till we get down at the bottom of Lord. So if you can give me a report, even send an email or a text message letting me know if you found anything, whether they were clear, so we know moving forward if there's another issue that we have to take care of.
We did find out yesterday, due to the large amount of rain that we got, a lot of people are putting debris into the streets, and that starts at Tenney and it starts washing its way down to Courtney. All the receivers were getting all plugged up yesterday with people blowing their grass out into the street from cutting their lawns, leaves, and everything else. And unfortunately, we had to call in 4 guys in on overtime yesterday just to go out and clean receivers because streets were flooded.
Right.
It's a big concern, and I would really like to sit down with the council and somebody propose some type of a resolution that that residents cannot do that.
Well, is it not illegal for us to put our leaves in the road? I don't believe it's being enforced, is the issue.
I'm not talking about just leaves. There's people that weekly blow their grass, and they cut their lawn into the street, and they leave it there. It'd be different if you cut it, and then someone's gonna get out there, but you take your leaf blower and you blow it back in onto your lawn. People specifically blow it all out in there, and it lines up along the curb, and then when we have a big rain like it happened yesterday, all the receivers were getting all plugged up with grass and other stuff.
Well, I look forward to sitting down with you and addressing that then. If
Awesome.
you could possibly maybe let me know what's going on with that
Yep,
section.
I will.
As soon as you can.
Yep.
Thank you. And then Chief Edwards, we're going to be having our next public safety meeting on May 10th at 4 o'clock. One of the things that we've talked about in the past, both myself and Councilman at Large Washington, was the possibility of doing a beach cleanup and burning of the wood. I know there's permits and things that we need to follow, there's rules that you have to follow, but I recently ran across an article in the paper from Governor Cuomo's office that did say that ceremony or celebratory bonfires are permitted with proper permits. So I was wondering if you could maybe look into that and let us know what we need to do to be able to move forward in some fashion, maybe small this year and with both beaches included.
Okay, I'll bring all the information about permitting,
Okay,
get it to you before that meeting.
thank you very much. And that's all I have.
I have nothing to add that hasn't already been said, so we'll move on to number 8, unfinished business. Seeing none. Number 9, pre-file resolutions, number 22.
Resolution authorizing participation in Border Patrol Augmentation Program.
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Washington.
Aye.
23, resolution authorizing mayor to execute agreement with Chautauqua County for a stop DWI program.
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye.
24, resolution authorizing budget line modifications for fiscal year 2017.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye.
25, resolution authorizing contract for West Howard Avenue culvert replacement and first instance funding.
Any discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye.
Number 26, resolution ratifying agreement between the City of Dunkirk and the Dunkirk Police Benevolent Association for January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2019.
Any discussion? Councilman Bamanto?
Yes, I'll be voting yes for this contract tonight. I'd like to thank the mayor and his team for the endless hours they worked on this negotiating. I'd like to thank the PBA representatives, the endless hours they worked to get this contract together. I said this before in the 912 contract, there's nothing like labor peace, and that's what we're going to have for a few years. So thank you.
Any further discussion?
I
Seeing-
echo his sentiments.
Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye.
Number 27, resolution authorizing mayor to execute Wright Park Lakeside sod agreement.
Any discussion? Councilwoman Chikawa?
Yeah, I'd just like to ask the mayor, I know this is a pretty large amount of money that we're putting into this. Is there something within that budget line that we're foregoing to be able to make this happen? Because we haven't spent money like that on the field in a while.
No, the game plan is that we're hoping that this can be incorporated into the Wright Park amenities grant as either a match or a reimbursement. Eventually, if it's not, and we do need money in that line, then we'll be moving money into it.
Okay. Will you keep us posted on that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye.
Number 28, resolution authorizing request for proposals for city insurance policy.
Any discussion, council? Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye. Number 10, new business, none. Moving to number 11, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilwoman Chikawa with the first, Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Bush.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.